Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Uninformed Fan. The boys are back. There's been a lot of stuff going on. It's good to see my good friend Jeffrey again because apparently I don't see him unless we're on camera together. Jeffrey, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing great, man. Very blessed, highly favored. Feel great. It's crazy. You know, I mentioned to you in the pre-show that I stopped drinking alcohol for Lent. You know, it's been 2 weeks now. It's really amazing the way that your bowel movements change. I will say that.
Healthier? Not
Just
as stringy?
Immaculate. Like,
yeah. Good formations?
It's crazy. It's crazy. Shout out to gut health. An important thing in your life. I'm starting to learn at the age of 40.
You're 40 now? Wow.
Oh.
I don't know why I thought you were younger.
And don't get me wrong, it's not that I'm not going back to drinking. I mean, I am definitely going back to drinking. This was just a little reset that I had for a couple weeks to just, you know, challenge yourself and see if you can do it, you know?
Yeah, I decided to give up sweets. And honestly, I looked at my wife the other day because I don't know. I guess I thought that I started at the beginning of February, but I was like, hey, we're almost done with this, right? She goes, no, you got to go to like April 2nd. And I'm like, wow.
So I'm going back and forth on whether I'm going to hit it my 30 days, right? And just be like, boom, I hit 30 days, I'm done.
She told me I got to do 40.
Well, it's supposed to be 40 days and 40 nights is what you're supposed to do for Lent. But the 30 days, for me at least, because I started a few days early, would actually land on St. Patrick's Day. So, however, I do work.
Yeah, see, I can drink and say, I mean, do you really need to go out on St. Patrick's Day, though? Do we need a reason? I tell those people all the time, for those that aren't in the, what, you know, for the people that don't work in the food industry, you know, like New Year's Eve, all this other stuff, like it's really just amateur night. Like we go on a random Tuesday, or at least we used to.
Right.
But yeah, let's get it on. Welcome in, everybody. Justice, TJ, Lee Roberts, welcome in, everybody. Let's get it on. Yeah, exactly. It's just like another excuse for Americans to drink. A lot of stuff going on in NFL news. like
who celebrates St. Patrick's Day? Like you every year of your life and until you got old.
Nobody actually celebrates St. Patrick's Day. No, let me ask you this. Every time that you've been out to St. Patrick's Day, have you like cheered somebody like, hey, St. Patrick, woo? Nah, it's just a reason to drink, dude. Just a reason to drink.
TJ, stop acting like back when you had spiky hair and, you know, we're young and cool that you weren't out there with some green beads on. You know.
For those of you who don't know, TJ back in the day looked like another member of NSYNC or the Backstreet Boys, 100%. Or maybe 98 Degrees. What was it? What was the really O-Town? O-Town.
Don't even give him O-Town. He was more like LFO. You know,
I got that.
Abercrombie and Fitch, puka shell necklace. Probably shopped a lot at Hollister back in the day. You know, one of those things.
I think a lot of people are feeling attacked right now, Jeffrey. You never shopped at Hollister? Well, let's get into it. NFL news coming out. Before we get into the combine, we do have some transactional things happening around the NFL. We're going to start off with the breaking news. Yes, absolutely. Now that you say that, I just lost my spot. Let's see here. Yeah, but I lost the actual breaking news here on the Uninformed Fan. The Kansas City Chiefs and the LA Rams. Marcus, welcome in, my man. Welcome in. The Rams are getting cornerback Trent McDuffie, and the Chiefs are receiving a king's ransom. They're going to get the Rams' first-round pick of this year, fifth-round pick of this year, sixth-round pick of this year, and a 2027 third-round pick. Now, that is a lot, but we talked a little bit on the pre-show. Obviously, Matt Stafford coming back this year. It's all in. They're all in this year. I will say the most important pick I feel like I have here that is on this is the 2027 third round, because the 2027 draft is going to be loaded. I think that one's going to be huge. Jeff, initial thoughts on this one? Did they overpay for Trent McDuffie?
I think it seems pretty fair back and forth. This is just a long list of guys that the Rams have done this with who are cornerbacks, whether it be a Jalen Ramsey, a Marcus Peters. You think about even Emmanuel Forbes last year coming over from Washington. This just seems to be kind of the MO for the Rams, which is that you go in, you try to get a veteran corner, shore things up on the back end. This is a huge pickup. McDuffie's considered one of the best cornerbacks in the entire league. I think from the Chiefs' perspective, it reminds me a lot of the Max Crosby thing. You need so much help in so many different places that you can't afford to have this one asset that is worth so much in this one spot. So you got to kind of pick and choose your battles here. Same thing like we talked about, maybe a month ago when we were talking about Max Crosby. It just seems like the Rams need so much that to have the luxury of keeping a guy like Max Crosby for what you need to fill in around everything just seems like too much. So I think that's kind of where the Chiefs found themselves out here as well too. I like the trade for the Rams.
Great move for the Chiefs.
I mean, I think it's a great move for both, right? I think, if you're the Rams, you look at, what kind of killed you. The defense was definitely the Achilles heel. You can say whatever you want. They got great pass rush, but the corner situation needed to be addressed a little bit. This is automatically shores that up. I guess they probably did their draft evaluations and figured that this was the best thing they were going to get. So
I would agree. And, it just goes to solidify the point of this year's draft class is garbage, because you got to think about it. There's 7 rounds in the draft and they gave up almost half of their picks for this one player. And I think that's going to be the sentiment going around the NFL when it comes to this draft. It's just eh. I think it's going to be something.
I agree. I mean, even watching the combine, I don't think anybody really jumped off the tape to you, unless you're going to talk about Sonny Styles or some of the Ohio State kids. You could see 4 of them getting drafted in the top 10. They are unbelievable, freak, crazy, amazing athletes. And so, I think that this is a down draft, no matter how you want to chop it up, for sure.
Can we also say that the Super Bowl is in SoFi Stadium this year? How does California get back-to-back Super Bowls? Damn Democrats. Let's get into it. NFL franchise tags were being passed around like candy. Or were they? Breece Hall gets the first one, Jeff, out of the New York Jets. Breece Hall gets tagged with the franchise tag here. I don't really think that this was a surprise. I think that was something that they needed to do. Breece Hall has proved himself year over year. I think he's going to be a good addition. I'm looking at the Kansas City Chiefs here. And you did not want to give up a 3rd round pick for this guy. And now he's being franchise tag. You wanted to do a 4th round pick, which we all thought Breece Hall and the Kansas City Chiefs last year would have definitely elevated to give him a little bit more of a shot to compete. Obviously, Mahomes goes down, the whole thing kind of plays out anyway. But I thought that could have been their long-term solution. Now they're looking at, I think they're picking 9. Obviously, Jeremiah Love is on their radar. A lot of people thought that Jeremiah Love was going to fall to Kansas City at 9. But Jeremiah Love, I do believe, is probably the best player in the draft. I don't think he makes it that far. So the Chiefs are going to have to work up some other magic. Maybe that's why they're stockpiling some of these picks, Jeff, to possibly move up in the draft to get Jeremiah Love to solidify that backfield for Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, it could be. I guess my initial thoughts are now when you extrapolate this trade out and you're thinking about it, okay, well, they wanted to give up a 4th, obviously. The Jets wanted a 3rd round pick for him when they were doing the fire sale. And now you turn around and you look at it and you say, well, they would have had to give up a 3rd round pick and they're going to have to franchise tag him, possibly sign him to a long-term deal. Maybe from their point of view, they just didn't think that the value was there. And that was the line in the sand they had to draw, was a 3rd round plus giving up $18 or $19 million a year for the next 4 years. Maybe was just not what they wanted in their cards. So, yeah, I mean, I understand it. I don't think there's egg on the face of the Chiefs, especially hindsight's always 2020. Now that you know that Mahomes went down and got injured, where would you have been with that? Would you have even franchise tagged Breece Hall this year, knowing that next year might be a rebuilding year as well? So there's a lot of factors at play, I guess. So
as we literally talk about this gives them the ammunition to move up to get Jeremiah Love.
Yeah, I mean, and now you can have Love on a rookie contract for multiple years, and then you make a decision after that whether to go sign him or not.
Yeah,
maybe they got blessed by luck, but it did kind of fall their way. I feel like
you heard it here first, guys. This trade is going to give the Chiefs the ammo that they need to move up to get Jeremiah Love and get their franchise running back, which honestly the Chiefs have never had, and Patrick Mahomes has never had. I mean, can we say that? Can I say that? Is that uninformed?
I don't think it's only Jeremiah Love. I think there's some other guys that are out there as well, too.
Well, you're not moving up to get any other running back. That's for sure. Most people even thought, running backs, dime a dozen type of thing. We'll see what happens there. George Pickens of the Dallas Cowboys franchise tag. No surprise here.
Yeah.
I think this is the perfect move by Dallas. My biggest question is he going to play on it? Obviously, he's already ruffled feathers, and he was traded for Pittsburgh for a reason. He has a little bit of a stigmata as far as the diva boy. I don't know, man. If he doesn't play, I think this is what Dallas had to do because he had one good year. Outside of Pittsburgh, you really didn't do a whole lot. You go into the Dallas offense. Dak Prescott, obviously, it's a prolific offense, one that puts up a lot of yards, a lot of points, and they continue to lose. I think this is perfect for them. Give him a 1 year prove it deal. If he gets it done, then they sign him to a long-term extension after that. My biggest question, Jeff, is does George Pickens show up on the franchise tag?
I don't know what else you want him to prove, though, is the thing. I mean, he's proved it the past few years playing with Russell Wilson at quarterback, and then last year when he actually had Dak, he had career season. So, I mean, let's be honest. Like, I think we all know George Pickens' talent. I would have no problem giving him 3 years and maybe $25 million per, maybe closer to 30 per.
This is only his second 1,000-yard season.
I know that they just Jeremy was just saying they reworked a couple different contracts, Dak, CD, Smith, all to kind of get under the cap and make sure that they get there. How much does Dak want to be able to help and give him another weapon as well too? That'd be something I would project out for Dak as well. Yeah, I mean, I think it's great. I love having two really good wide receivers on your team. It's 100%. why I think it's very interesting what the Giants are going to do coming up in this draft as well too. I touched on a little bit with TJ yesterday, but I could see like Carnell Tate maybe working in there a little bit as well. You give him another weapon, another guy for if Malik Neighbors goes down, that Jackson Dart has somebody to throw to, and it's not just Wan'Dale Robinson out there, running short routes and occasionally.
Who's also a free agent, by the way.
So, but what I'm saying is that you don't. That
Wan'Dale Robinson type. I got
exactly. Not necessarily Wan'Dale Robinson himself. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of question marks that we have going around. Where does Harbaugh want to make his first pick with the Giants as well, too? Very interesting. But, yeah, I mean, I think in the case of that division as well, and this is what I was saying, if you look at it, there's definitely good wideouts that are there, right? You look at McLaurin and Debo for even the Commanders. You look at Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. Who knows what's going to happen with that situation going forward, but that's a great tandem as well, too. Now you look at Pickens and CD over in Dallas. What do you have to show for yourself over in New York? It's kind of an
Puka
arms
Adams.
race. Yeah, it not to no pun intended. It is an arms race right now to try to be able to get the best weapons that you can. So,
yeah. We'll see what happens there. Kyle Pitts tagged out of Atlanta. Not surprised here again. Again, good year. Finally shows up. I honestly, I wish Major League Baseball could go to the franchise tag. I really do, because I'm so sick and tired of seeing a Major League Baseball that they suck for 4 years, and on the 5th year they have a great year. Of course, is their contract year, and they bury a franchise with the egregious amount of money that they must be paid. I love the franchise tag. Prove it to me one more time. If you're there, I got you.
I disagree. I think they have so much control over the player already in baseball. You look at even what the Cubs did. Remember with Chris Bryant?
They're all guaranteed money.
Can I finish my thought, please?
No.
Okay. You look at even what the Cubs did a couple of years ago with Chris Bryant that we were talking about, where they kept him down for a certain period of time to be able to have an extra year of control over him. You have arbitration hearings where guys are able to get their money based off their market value as well, too. So I kind of disagree with you when it comes to that, and I'll give you a little bit of pushback on it. The franchise tag in itself, I agree, it needs to be tweaked a little bit. But I would just be surprised if some of these guys are especially Kyle Pitts. How are you not able to come to an agreement with Kyle Pitts, who's had one good year, who people were basically writing off? His good year wasn't even really with Penix. It was with Kirk Cousins at the end of the year. He went absolutely nuts. Now Kirk is not going to be on the team probably. He's being moved. They're going to commit to Penix fully, which is crazy to me with a guy who's got the injury history that he does, that you don't have your insurance policy that's already signed to your team. Neither here nor there, but now you can't come to an agreement with Kyle Pitts. How much money does Kyle Pitts want? And now he's going to play on a 1-year deal under a franchise tag, which is what's the franchise tag for tight ends? 15?
I don't know.
Maybe it's not that much. But it just seems crazy to me that you can't get something done with a guy like Pitts, who you stuck by the entire time.
15 on the head.
Yeah, so to me, it's like, get something done. especially even maybe just below 15, right? Maybe you give him 4 years and you give him 14 per, because we know the cap's going to go up, and we know that, the way that things are projecting now, I mean, what's 300 something $million this year, it'll continue to grow and continue to rise. So yeah, I just really weird to me with that organization in Atlanta.
Well, yeah, I like it. Michael Penis Jr. I like it. Yeah, I think that's absolutely crazy. You're absolutely right. George Kittle and Trey McBride obviously holding the top there of tight ends at 19. Kyle Pitts will fall into like 5th, which is, it's kind of crazy that you're going to do that. Now, again, just because they franchise tag a player does not mean that they can't get a deal done. This is just something that kind of hold them in place. But I don't.
You didn't get a deal done first, because if you did, you could have franchised somebody else.
Yeah, but who else do they have? To me, again, I think this is a great move by the Atlanta Falcons, because to your point, Kyle Pitts has done absolutely nothing up until this year, and now they're going to change coaches again. Kevin Stefanski coming in, so a little bit more of a prolific offense. Mine maybe, I don't know. We'll see. But what happens.
You also right.
But who's going to be throwing him the ball?
Yeah. And you also lost your first round pick because you traded it to the Rams this year to get James Pierce Jr., who literally just ended his career by chasing around his WNBA girlfriend, what was that, 2 or 3 months ago, going to a police station, getting arrested, going crazy. His career is over. And you literally just James Pierce Jr. You don't know this story?
Apparently not.
How do you not know this story?
Well, Jeff, the beautiful thing is sometimes I just
the uninformed fan.
I just don't look at the news or read the news. Let's see here. Arrest details. Oh, this is gonna be a video. I don't want to watch this. Well, give it to me.
Okay. Synopsis: James Pierce Jr. has been a character issue for a long time in his life, whether it be high school, college. Even when this story came out, one of his boys was like, "Dude, I was friends with that dude in high school. That kid is crazy." Long story short, he's dating a very well-known WNBA basketball player in Atlanta as he got drafted.
Name names, Jeff.
They traded up. They gave up a first-round pick to trade up into the first round to get James Pierce Jr. to bring him in. He has an incredible rookie season this year. Season's over. He ends up chasing down the girlfriend who broke up with him, stalking her. Eventually,
Rakia Johnson.
Correct. Eventually,
Rakia Jackson.
Eventually, she decides that she's going to drive to a police station. He wrecks his car. I believe he had a Urus. Wrecks his Urus into her car to try to stop her from doing that. Going crazy. I believe he got a failure to comply with law enforcement.
Well, here it is, Jeffrey. He's got 2 counts of aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, aggravated stalking, fleeing and eluding police, and aggravated battery on a law enforcement officer.
The Leo one is the tough one. That the aggravated battery on a law enforcement, on a Leo, we call it Leo. If you're in jail, but that is a tough one, because
this is my favorite thing about the article here, though, Jeffrey. Defense. His attorney maintains his innocence.
Yeah, we have you on video on the entire thing. Tough one.
He's wrongfully accused.
A little bit of a tough one, not gonna lie. Homie is cooked. The Falcons are cooked.
Oh man, dude.
Whatever though. Hey man, at least you guys beat the Saints in week 18 to hold the Bucs out of the playoffs and let the Panthers win the division. Congratulations to the Atlanta fucking Falcons.
Man, the JJ will make you do some crazy things, huh?
Crazy.
Must be caramel in that. Daniel Jones also getting a tag, but not the franchise tag. They do say it's warmer. He's getting the transition tag. Jeffrey, were you surprised that they just didn't try to get a deal done, or do you feel like this is something we're going to talk about later with Mike Evans? They're going to kind of let him go out there, see what the market is first. Obviously, they can match any offer that is presented with the transition tag and go from there. But it looks like, in theory, the Indianapolis Colts are ready to move forward with Daniel Jones as their quarterback of the future.
We saw what they were with him when he was playing great. Now, how does that Achilles come into play? For a guy who also does rely on his legs to be able to get out of the pocket and pick up first downs, it's a huge part of his game. How will that come into play going forward after this year? I think there's got to be some, language in the contract that's going to be able to offset shit in case something happens. I hate to say that, but I just think that they're going to try to put something in there to kind of protect themselves when it comes to the situation. But I don't mind committing to Daniel Jones at all. I think it's very interesting that you're going to commit to Daniel Jones while simultaneously giving up on Anthony Richardson.
I think they like Riley Leonard. I think they like him better. And yeah, with that being said, Anthony Richardson has been given permission to seek a trade. I have no doubts that somebody will take a shot on him. I mean, coming out the end of this rookie contract. Let's talk about that for just a second, Jeff. I mean, where do you think AR might have a chance to revive his career? In my opinion, I think he needs to sit behind somebody for a little while, continue to learn. We talked about this in the draft. We said that we didn't think he should be that high. He hasn't had a lot of reps. He has all the talent in the world, but he needs some serious coddling and molding. To me, I thought it would have been great. Like I said, Minnesota, if he would have drafted back then, sat behind and continued. But whatever. For me, I would love to see him go to San Francisco. I mean, San Francisco seems to be the revival, if they do move on from Mac Jones as a backup. But where would you like to see Anthony Richardson possibly land to see if he gets another shot at making it in the NFL?
Well, you already mentioned it, and I had mentioned it to you in the pre-show. I did see Minnesota was a big landing spot for him. And remember to be happy. Now, you told me that Kyler Murray, it looked like you thought that might be a situation as well. Regardless, I think you give O'Connell either of those guys who are athletic freaks, who still have great arms, who can make all the plays, and you give him that with a quarterback whisperer like O'Connell. I think the sky's the limit what they're able to do there. So I think either of those fits are great. I'd love to see him in Minnesota. Obviously, I've never been a JJ McCarthy believer. I've been a very loud proponent of how non much of a JJ McCarthy believer that I am over and over again. But yeah, I mean, I think Minnesota would be a perfect spot for him. I think unless you're going to send him like Mac Jones goes and signs somewhere this offseason, and maybe he goes and backs up, Purdy. Because we've seen success happen even with a guy like when Dobbs came in, even with O'Connell when Dobbs came in, and same thing.
Darnold.
I think when they were both in Shanahan and O'Connell systems, right? And so you look at those two guys as guys who are able to kind of resurrect people's careers. I think both those would be good places for him.
I agree, and I just think that it goes back to the beginning of what we said. It's like when you draft a quarterback, like the NFL has a serious quarterback development issue. A serious one. And it's something that definitely needs to be talked about. You did mention Kyler Murray. The reports that I have that they're high on Kyler Murray. I don't know why. I
don't know why other people aren't high on Kyler Murray. I still don't understand it.
Why? Because his baby scrambles? I mean, the guy can't see over the line.
He's athletic as shit.
Correct.
He has a cannon for an arm. He's incredibly talented. I just think the only question I have with Kyler Murray is the same question I've had since he got drafted. Does he love football? Once the gleam and the glitter of being the first overall pick, and the celebrations and pomp and circumstance that comes with that is over, then you get down to the nitty gritty. Like, do you want to watch film or do you want to play COD? That's just the question. And there's a reason that they offset language in his contract that said that. It's because they know it as well too. And so I have that, when he gets released, which they said they're going to release him, where does his mind go there? You're probably set for life. You don't really need to go play football. But do you love football where you want to go play somewhere and you want to be in the locker room around the dudes? Pause. But I just that's my entire question. That's my entire question with Kyler.
Yeah, I don't know. And, with that being said, what does that mean for JJ McCarthy? I mean, obviously we both didn't really like JJ McCarthy. And apparently neither did Kevin O'Connell, but it was more the general manager that apparently pushed for that and obviously lost his job for that. But you bring in Kyler Murray, JJ McCarthy's dead in the water. I mean, you're not bringing in Kyler Murray to compete with JJ McCarthy. You're bringing Kyler Murray to start. And I'm sure, as you said, that would be a conversation that's had before you go to any other team. Like, I'm the guy. Like, I'm not coming in to compete. And I think there's so many quarterback needy teams that would probably just allow that to happen. Obviously, Minnesota is definitely the best spot for any quarterback. I said that numerous times. I was really surprised Aaron Rodgers didn't go there. I think that gave him the best opportunity to win and win now. You obviously have a Hall of Fame potential receiver in
Justin Jefferson.
To
go along with Jordan Addison, to go along with TJ Hawkinson, to go along with
back
to go along backfield, with Naylor. Rest in peace, Rondell Moore. And I mean, I guess that's still at the end of the day, you can't rule out that Rodgers could go to Minnesota.
That is true. I mean, to me, I think that would be the best thing for Minnesota. Honestly, give JJ a year behind Aaron, but again, how much tutelage is he going to get under Aaron? I don't know. We'll see what happens. A good thing it's not my team. Honestly, I hope they get a shit quarterback so they don't compete. How about that? Not tagged, Jeff. Trey Henderson out of the Cincinnati Bengals. I don't think this was any surprise here that they did not tag him. They had a little contract dispute last year. He held out. They ended up giving the extra money, and then he got hurt and was pretty much non-existent for that year. Not really surprised there at all. How about yourself?
It's just interesting they can never get a long-term deal done here. And then now I feel like Trey's value has been severely hit by this entire situation as well too.
Well, I think his value with the dispute and the injury, yeah, right. You're absolutely right. 100%. Yeah. I think he probably lost anywhere from $3 to $5 million a year.
And I think none of it is his fault necessarily. I think it's just maybe bad.
Cincinnati being Cincinnati.
And his agent, probably maybe overplaying their hand a little bit as well too, is the issue.
Well, they did end up getting the money for 1 year though. So, I mean, I guess, hey, you got your 1 year. I mean, whatever. I mean, at the end of the day, Jeff, I mean, I'd take an extra $5 million for 1 year. Yeah. If I didn't have to play again, oops.
What would you do for $5 million?
No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that.
I
don't even know what the tone is there. I don't know what the hidden door behind this question is, but I'm
like some fear factor stuff. Like, would you like go into like a pit of snakes,
non-venomous?
There may be a coral snake or two in there.
No. Why would I die?
But so you would go into if it was like a Burmese python.
No.
That's non-venomous.
Yeah, but it also popped my head off like a lollipop. Well, let me ask you this question. If I go into a tank with a Burmese python, is its belly full? Has it eaten recently? Because if it's eaten recently, it's just going to sit there and stare at me.
You should be able to beat up a Burmese python.
Are you insane, Jeff?
No.
Those things eat horses.
Do you see? You're a human being, though.
And?
You have intelligence.
What is that going to do me in a box cage?
You'll figure it out.
We gonna run from it?
Give you a shovel.
Quarter to quarter? If it was belly was full, I would think about it. But if it was starved, absolutely not. Absolutely.
So you think the Burmese python would eat you? Do you see these things that they pull out of the Everglades, by the way? It's insane.
Yes. The 20-footers?
It's crazy.
They eat alligators, dude.
Yeah, but those dudes go get them.
They do.
Yeah.
But they're also not just sitting in a room with them.
No, it's even worse. They're in the Everglades. They're out in you don't know where.
Because then a python will instinctively run away from you. So so there's nowhere to go. But I'm not. All right, let's get back on the top here. One of the Super Bowl MVP, Kenneth Walker III, not franchise tag, Jeffrey.
Yeah.
Not signed, just allowed to. Thank you for your service. Thank you for the Super Bowl. Here's your MVP trophy. Good luck in the future.
Pretty
surprised?
Crazy. Yes. Surprised that they couldn't get a deal done. Yes. I thought they were a great two-headed monster all year with Charbonnet and with Walker. Then you get down to, obviously Charbonnet gets hurt. Walker has one of the best postseason runs of any running back in NFL history. Maybe not history, but in the past 10 years at least. Has a Super Bowl MVP. I don't know. It further just depreciates running backs. And what can you do if you play running back to be able to A, get paid, and B, have a nice NFL life in future? It's very
well, at the end of the day, again, we don't know what the asking price was. So, I mean, 15 million. I mean, I think 15 million is pretty much the absolute top of running backs, is it not?
Well, let's Breece Hall get 19 for his tag. Because you do have guys like McCaffrey. Kyron just got paid last year. King Henry, I think, is at 17 or 18.
Saquon is at 20. Christian, 19. Henry, 15. Hall, 14.2.
So 14.2 is
14.
14.2 is the tag.
No, that's just what he was. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know.
That's my question. What's the franchise?
Yeah. Because it says fully guaranteed. Yeah.
Okay, so 14.2 is the tag.
No, I don't think so.
I think it's got to be more than 14.2. I think you average.
Yeah. No, 14.293. Yeah.
Interesting. All right. So 14.3 basically. I mean, I don't know. Charbonnet got hurt. I would have liked to have seen Kenneth Walker run it back, especially for all he did for Seattle. But I think Seattle's going to go through a little bit of a rebuilding thing. We see this every year with Super Bowl champions and also Super Bowl losers as well, too. There's a little bit of a hangover that goes into the next season. Unless you're just an elite top-tier team and you have a top-tier quarterback, I don't see Sam Darnold as that. And I don't know if the Seahawks are that as well, too, especially in the division they play in, especially with everything going on around them. So.
Well, can we also be honest? I mean, they got kind of a cupcake Super Bowl. Say what you want about the Patriots, whatever. Great season, but that was just not it.
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah, it was a terrible matchup as well, too. You had an incredible defensive line in front seven going against, a team that was struggling with that at the time, and a guy who was seeing ghosts out there in Drake May for multiple games in a row. So
these are the facts, Jeff. These are the facts. Let's see here. All right. So now let's get into a little bit of top free agents here. Obviously, everybody, for whatever reason, Jeff, is oogling over Malik Willis. I don't get it. I know that you don't get it either. I mean, obviously, there was some blips where he had some good scrambles. Obviously, I only watched him against the Bears. Had a couple good, nice passes. But I think everybody's really clinging to this Sam Darnold resurgence along with Baker Mayfield. You know, that we see those two guys. Yeah. And, but I think Malik Willis was a third-round pick to start with, so it's not really in the same category as the start of the other two. But, again, this just shows how QB needy teams are, that they're willing to pay this guy that's been a career backup $30 million a year in a shot over someone like Kyler Murray that, obviously has more talent, just hasn't worked out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel like this reminds me a little bit of Matt Flynn. I know it's a little bit different, but it's like a guy comes in and plays well for a couple games, Jimmy Garoppolo, if you will. Like, you see that there is talent there. You just have to find a way to harness it and hone in on it. But like I said this before, like I think Malik Willis is an average runner and an average thrower. And so what does he really do that's great? Protect the football. He's able to get a couple yards here and there. To me, if I'm gonna spend $90 million over 3 years on a quarterback, I want them to be a guy who can. That's like a Baker Mayfield contract. You know what I mean? Like I want a guy who is able to go out there and absolutely just sling it and be able to lead my team. And he just seems like the epitome of a game manager and a backup quarterback. Now, I might be completely wrong. I know I was told yesterday on a show that I was on that I was completely wrong, and that's fine. That's my personal opinion. For me, I don't see it. I guess these teams do. Godspeed.
Are you cheating on us?
What do you mean?
You said another show. Are you cheating on us?
No, I hung out with TJ for a little bit yesterday. Buff was sick, so I did TJ's show for a little bit yesterday.
Oh, so you are cheating on us.
Is it really cheating?
Did you enjoy yourself? Did it feel good?
It felt like this.
It felt like this, huh? Wow. No loyalty to the home show. The show that launched, that paved the way.
Listen,
I introduced streaming to the boys.
I did make sure to go ahead and plug the Uninformed Fan. And I appreciate all 50-something people who are listening today, who came over from listening yesterday. Thank you guys so much. And girls for being here as well. I know there's a lot of ladies that were out there in the chat yesterday with me and TJ on the screen. Appreciate y'all.
Probably even more over here. Let's get into it. Let's rip through some of these other ones. Jalen Phillips, the edge coming out of Miami, is going to be very sought after. Tyler Linderbaum, the center out of Baltimore. This is going to be really interesting here. He is looking to become the highest paid center, and I didn't realize that centers were in the $25 to $30 million range, Jeff, but apparently that's what we're talking about here. $25 to $30 million. He's seeking
Crazy.
25, 4-year, $100 million deal. I mean, I guess it makes sense, I mean, when we talk about wide receivers, this, that, and the other, every time we talk about it, does a quarterback have time to throw? Where does that fall on? That falls on the offensive line. You got good big men up there that can protect your quarterback and give your wide receivers time. It's pretty much pitch and catch at that point. You're not going to be able to keep up with them. So, I guess I just don't know if anybody's going to have that kind of cap room. Apparently, Baltimore has made an offer around 4 years, $80 million. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, the Chicago Bears are going to be in a center where we're going to talk about that in a minute. But man, Jeff, $25 million a year for a center. Are the big men finally getting the love that they deserve?
We've jumped the shark a little bit here. For centers, I feel like when my, what did Drake May get paid this year?
Oh, a couple mil.
It's got to be less than 25, right? And that's the guy who's actually making the decisions, as opposed to the guy who's just getting the ball to him between his legs. Pause. But you've said
a lot of sus things today, dude. Highest paid center right now is $18 million, and that's Creed Humphrey from the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, Creed's really good.
We're gonna jump from 18 to 25. Come on, dude. I think this guy's out of his mind.
Pretty stark difference, but shout out to his agents. I'm sure they're
Drew Dahlman. I didn't realize Drew Dahlman, that we're going to talk about later, was the third highest paid offensive lineman.
Yeah.
Third highest center at $14 million. Wow.
Might as well. We just brought it up. Might as well just go ahead and touch on it now. What do you think about it?
I think it's absolutely devastating for the Chicago Bears. We had a full year together. We put together an awesome offensive line that seemed to protect Caleb Williams for the most part. Obviously, quarterback center relationship is very important. I know that Caleb tweeted something out, like Big Bear or something, with the little crying emoji. Obviously, he's going to be missed. But, at the end of the day, you don't know what's going on. This is a smart guy. He's from Stanford. He always wear the larger helmet. Is there something behind the scenes that we don't know about? At the end of the day, he's 27 years old. Like I said, he just made $15 million last year. So he probably took home 6.5 of it. At the end of the day, $6.5 million in the bank is generational wealth, and managed appropriately. And obviously he's made more than that. Managed appropriately is plenty enough to set you up for the rest of your life and be retired at 27 and live whatever lifestyle you want to live. So, it sucks for the Bears, but that's his decision. It leaves us in a very, very bad spot because we're still trying to figure out what we're going to do at left tackle with Ozzie Tripola out with his injury that he had last year. So now we have two holes on the offensive line. We talked about Tyler Linderbaum. All pro center again, where we'd like to have him, of course. If they pay him $25 million a year, though, I think that, I'm going to have an issue with that. I think there's plenty of other things that you need to do. So I don't know. I don't know what's in the draft. I don't know what's up. At the end of the day, I trust Ben Johnson and Ryan Poles to try to make a good decision. If we've learned anything over the first year with Ben Johnson, the way they filled that offensive line and what they did, they definitely did the right things. And, out of the Bears camp, Caleb Williams said they want to be the highest scoring offense ever to, compete against Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos. So I'm sure they're going to find somebody. I don't know. I would hate to see somebody come in like this for $25 million and then have a cap hit, like lose DJ Moore or something like that, or affect the Max Crosby trade, which we're obviously going to talk about that as well. So I don't know, man.
I think it definitely affects the Max Crosby trade, no matter how much you want to hear that or not. I think that the fact that you're now going to have to go out and figure out what you're going to do at that spot while also simultaneously playing said retired player, that's going to suck. And I think it might cost you Max for sure.
Yeah.
Now, I think that the way that this first round is going to play out, you're going to see a ton of edges go. You're going to see wide receivers go. You're going to see linebackers go. I think there's going to be a part of it where the market stunts enough to where you're going to find yourself a great offensive lineman with your pick this year. So I would kind of bank on that. I think just the run that's going to happen on these edges and these kids and that are testing off the charts is going to be too great for people to pass up. GMs are going to be licking their chops, and they're not going to want to miss on the guy in case somebody else is going to take him. Then it's going to create value for you later in the round.
Well, of course, I'd love to see Jake Slaughter slide it in there. Obviously, center from the University of Florida, 6'5", 303, who's coming out. Looks like Mel Kiper has him as the third best center in the draft. I think that's where you have to go, honestly. I mean, at the end of the day, are we in win now mode?
Yeah.
Kinda. but
You are.
not.
You're in a window. No. You are. You're in a window.
Okay, well, if we're in win now mode and we're in that window, then you're not drafting a center, or you might draft a center as you said later in the round, but that's not your starter. So yeah.
Why?
Well, obviously, if you're in a win now mode, you want somebody that can win now. I mean, unreported, unproven rookie, doesn't really give you that.
Nail the draft. Draft well.
We'll see. I mean, Poles has had some good hits. We'll see what happens over there. Alec Pierce, one of the big names, also as a free agent. Love him as a wide receiver last year. Put up some great numbers with Daniel Jones. Was a little surprised they didn't try to bring him back, but maybe after this Daniel Jones contract situation, kind of works itself out. Maybe they. What the hell was that? Someone just hit the window. Bird flew in the window. Maybe they try to, do something there, but I don't know. We got Kenneth Walker. We are talking about Rashid Shaheed. Let's get into, let's get into some Bucks players here, Jeffrey, before we dive into the discombobulation that is the Chicago Bears again. Mike Evans, Cade Otton, and who was the other one? Carlton? Who was the other one I said?
Jamel Dean.
Jamel Dean. No, yeah. Mike Evans, Jamel Dean, and Cade Otton, all free agents this year. Let's start off with Mike Evans because the other two kind of do the Bucks do, as you talked about a little bit at the pre-show, let Mike Evans test the waters and then kind of bring him back on another deal kind of around those numbers? Or what do you think the best opportunity is for Mike Evans this year?
I think they did it a few years ago. They let him go test the market, and then he came back. I was like, this is kind of what I was offered. They're like, all right, well, let's do this. He's like, okay, cool. I would expect the same thing to happen. Now, is there a possibility whenever you do this that somebody comes in, wows him, moves him, takes care of him and pays for him and he leaves? There absolutely is. You will always run that risk. But I think like Todd has said and like Jason has said, I think Mike has deserved this and been able to everything he's given to the team and to the organization. I think he's deserved the time to be able to go get pursued by people. And so if he does that and he leaves, then God bless him. I'm going to be a Mike Evans fan my entire life, no matter what. Obviously, I want him to retire at Buck. I don't want him to play anywhere else. And I think he's an integral part of our wide receiver situation as well, too, because we have a lot of guys who are very similar. Besides him, he's the one-off that is different than everybody else. So, yeah, I mean, I'd love to see him stay, but, there's places that are talked about. Buffalo, San Fran,
Bucks jersey, man.
Obviously,
like we talked about, Buffalo to me is the number one spot, in my opinion. That team with Josh obviously is in win now mode, and obviously he brings a certain dynamic. But we talked about his injuries, and obviously he has had a few injuries as he gets older in his career, and the cold weather. And when it comes to signing with other teams, can he survive a full year in a cold weather market? That's a big question. I don't know. I do like the San Francisco approach. I think that gives them a true number one. I don't believe they have a true number one, do they? I mean, Ricky Pearsall is more of the slot receiver. Who else do they even have?
Ayuk's moving on. Jawan Jennings that you have as well, too, who's been very productive. Obviously, Kittle is there. McCaffrey that you have weapon-wise.
I think San Francisco is a good fit as well.
Kendrick Bourne.
Weather's good. You don't have to worry about that. You just got to worry about your soft tissue injuries from the power plant less than a mile from your stadium.
It's a tough
at the end of the day. Yeah. Any of the other two that you're sad to see go, Jeff, or it just is what it is?
Nah, Jamel Dean. Somebody will overpay for him. I've always been a fan of Jamel Dean. The Bucks almost released him last year, and then he decided to renegotiate his contract and basically play for like a couple million on a prove-it deal. And he played well through certain aspects, but our secondary was a huge problem last year, and he was one of the anchors of that. So, no, I don't have any quandaries about Jamel Dean moving on.
Also crazy that Mike Evans and Jacoby Myers were making the same amount of money last year. That's kind of crazy to me.
Why is that crazy?
Just Mike Evans is a Hall of Famer, man. For only one that had all 1,000-yard seasons up until last season, I
was in an argument in one of my group chats about this because somebody was comparing him to DeAndre Hopkins, and I was like, "You're being disrespectful to Mike Evans by comparing him to DeAndre Hopkins." Now, was DeAndre in his couple years that he had there in Houston, were their peaks the same? Probably, yeah. Like numbers wise, their peaks are probably the same, but DeAndre Hopkins hasn't been relevant where Mike Evans has 10,000-yard seasons in a row it's disrespectful to compare the two.
Yeah. Well, let's get into it. Let's trade talks. We just talked about Drew Dalman retiring as the Chicago Bears. The Bears are actually the favorite still to land Max Crosby. It went from plus 600 to plus 200 to minus 145 the other day. Obviously, we'll see the impact that has on this. Apparently, the Raiders are interested in Tremaine Edmonds, which the Bears have allowed to seek a trade. I think that's going to be very, very interesting. I think if you can do Tremaine Edmonds with the first round pick this year, not which the Bears have already said they're not going to include a first round pick for 2027. It's off the table. We've already talked a little bit about the 2027 draft and how we expect that to be a little juicy, especially with the depth that's going on here. I do believe that the Bears have to do something. You cannot run that defense back again. I think that Trey Hendrickson is obviously an issue or somebody to look at. Jalen Phillips is obviously an issue, but both of those guys are going to command high money. Are they going to command Max Crosby money? I don't know. We're already talking about getting rid of Tremaine Edmonds to circumvent the cap anyway. I'll tell you what I don't want to see, and I think I talked a little bit about this other times. That we're talking about DJ Moore in the first. After thought, I don't know where DJ Moore's head is, but I don't want him to go, man. I don't want to break up that wide receiver core. And I don't know exactly what's going on. We talked about the lack of routes or this, that, and the other on the end of the game over there. There was miscommunication. They both said that. It is what it is. I just think that you've got a lot of good things going on that offense. And let's also remember, Bears fans, that was our first year of the offense. First year. We got a lot of things on paper, a lot of things to continue to work out. I really don't want to see that core go. But you got to do something on the defensive side of the ball. There's going to be a lot of defensive holes, a lot of corner issues, DB issues, and defensive end issues. We got to do something. So I would love to see a Tremaine Edmonds package for a first rounder, for maybe then a fifth rounder, something of those natures for Max Crosby. Apparently, Max wants to come here. Like I said, Vegas usually knows. And, when you go to minus 145, that's a pretty good indication. What is the season opens a week from today? Yeah. March 11th, I believe, is the day that all teams have to be under the cap. That's the start of the new year. I don't know if that's exactly when free agency starts. I just know that's the start of the new year.
You also have that tampering time as well, too, where you have legal tampering. I don't know. It's all.
What was it? NFL free agency 2026. Yep, March 11th. But teams can start negotiating with players on Monday at noon. So Monday at noon next week, you're going to start to see some rumors start flying around. It usually gets pretty crazy right off the bat, right? Which is kind of wild as well if they can't really talk. You can't tell me that teams already having negotiations this week. You can't tell me that. There's behind the scenes things happening. People are starting to work out their stuff. I think you're going to see a very heavy market this year. You're going to see a lot of people flying around. We'll see what the Bears do, man. Would Max Crosby be great on the Chicago Bears? Absolutely. Put him opposite DeAndre Sweat, Jermaine Dexter. I think that plugs a lot of the issues that we had with that defensive line, because all you got to do is chip shot Sweat. There was really nobody else. Booker started to come along a little bit there at the end. He put all three of them together. Who knows what's going to happen? But we need corner help. Who knows if Jalen Johnson, Deshaun Wright looks like he's going to get overpaid to go somewhere else. So he's probably gone. Is Tyreek Stevenson going to pull his head out of his ass? A lot of questions on that defensive side of the football. But definitely would love to see Max Crosby in a Chicago Bears uniform. My biggest question, again, as we talked about, how bad does the Drew Dalman retirement affect their ability to go get him?
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out, but I think it's going to be pretty massive.
Let's stick with the Chicago Bears here for a second. There's been a lot of rumblings over the weeks about the Chicago Bears new stadium. You heard me talk about it weeks ago when the pricing plan came out. And of course, now the Indiana has put legislation on the board to lure the Bears away. I came out to this first time when we talked about the Chicago Bears. First of all, I think the price tags are absolutely egregious. I know that there's like 28 out of the 32 or 26 out of the 32 teams that have NFL PSL licenses now. It's just another way to gouge the fans. I think it's absolutely egregious. I was talking to cousin Clay about this, and I talked about it. I said, if the Bears leave Illinois and Chicago, every politician should be fired. And, that was my initial reaction. Hey, Goofy, man, what's going on, buddy? That was my initial reaction. Now, I took a little step back. That was just my initial fan reaction, right? How dare they? And then I started thinking about it. And if you're an NFL owner and you are too damn poor to build a stadium, to not have to have taxes raised throughout the state, to not have to get state funding, then sell the damn team. Sell the damn team. If you're that poor to where you have to try to build a stadium to host a Super Bowl, other events, because you can't afford the daily life of an NFL ownership, and let's be honest, the McCaskies are absolutely at the bottom. Absolutely at the bottom. It's been in the family for generations. I don't know what they've done with the money that they've gotten throughout of it. But the fact is, first of all, if they go to Indiana to get some kind of sweetheart deal so they don't have to get more money out of the government and all this, sell the damn team, man. I'm so sick of this shit. It's $1 billion franchise, probably valued around $10 billion. And it's the same shit as NIL. You have to turn around to the fans and say, hey, we can't build you a stadium in Chicago. We can't do this in Chicago. We can't do this in Arlington Heights unless the government gives us $600 million and this, that, and the other. Otherwise, we just can't do that for you guys. Sorry about that, but continue to pay your $50,000 a year PSL license, all this, that, and the other. I've gotten really sour, Jeffrey. I've gotten really, really sour on it. And to me, I think I've also come to the conclusion that I don't even want Bears tickets anymore. I don't want to continue contributing to the machine. I think I'm out. I think I'm going to be a paper fan, Jeff.
Welcome.
Is there room for me in your paper fandom?
Welcome. It's a pleasure to be here.
I just don't understand it, man. Like I do understand certain aspects of it though, right? So I do also believe if you build a stadium in Arlington Heights, right? So you already own the land. Let's just say that you're paying $100,000 in property taxes, right? For the vacant land. Okay. And then you build all of this stuff. And then they want to charge you $50 million a year in property taxes because you improved the land. I don't agree with that one bit. So that part of the legislation I agree with as far as, hey, no. Like, we're going to do all of this. We're going to shoot billions of dollars into the economy. It's going to be a $1.5, $1.8 billion stadium, which they've already said that they will completely do on their own. But what right does that give the government then to say, okay, well, now you owe us $100 million a year in property taxes? It's just, that's the part I don't understand. That's the part that really pisses me off about politics. But at the end of the day, if you guys can't do it on your own without raising taxes, I mean, there's talking about 20% property taxes being raised in Illinois, this, that, and the other. And everywhere you go, that doesn't apply just to the Chicago Bears. That applies to every stadium. And if you look at it, a lot of them do it. They raise taxes in order to pay for it. I don't agree with it at all, Jeff. End of rant.
And scene. All right, we got about 2.5 minutes to wrap some other stuff up here. What do you want to move on to?
The boys brought home gold in Canada, taking down the evil empire of the North, Jeffrey. Fuck you, Justin Trudeau. Ha, ha, ha. Some great memes coming out of the eagle, pinning the goose. Oh,
that was a good one.
I loved it. I think the White House put that one out.
White House taking some flack here because their social media team is on fire, but also like people don't want them to use their music or videos or whatever it is in some of these things. So
Kesha, because
I don't think it's just Kesha. I think there's a litany of different things that they've used that people have not been okay with, but what it is.
Because they showed them blowing up something and this place is about to blow. Give me a break, bro.
Amazing job by both teams. Shout out to the US of A hockey in terms of both women and men, and also shout out to both of them for the way that they handled the entire situation afterwards as well too. It sucks that we have to talk about this, but we do. I thought that both teams handled it with the utmost of class. I thought their answers to everything were contrite to the point and heartfelt. And I think a story that tried to get spun out of control, that they allowed them to celebrate for 5 minutes before trying to tear them down as misogynistic assholes who hate women, I thought got spun right back into it. And I thought it was fantastic the way that both teams handled it. There are certain God-given rights that you are guaranteed by the Constitution of this amazing country that we live in. One of them is freedom of speech. The fact that they were both invited to the White House and to the State of the Union, the women, it is completely within their right to say that we cannot go. We appreciate the invite. The men is
And it wasn't because they just didn't want to go. They said they had scheduling conflicts.
They said they had scheduling conflicts, which if they did it or they didn't, it's
whatever.
I don't give a flying you know what either way. The men wanted to go. They were coming off of a huge emotional moment that just really defined the way that this series has gone with Canada in the past couple years. And I thought the way that everybody handled it in terms of answers and just everything was done with the utmost of class. And shout out to
Jack Hughes.
Not only him, but shout out to his mother who raised those kids unbelievably. The fact that they asked Jack Hughes the question, what's the one thing you're thinking about as soon as you score the goal? And he immediately says, I was thinking about the girl who scored for Canada. We were literally in the cafeteria yesterday celebrating them. And it was just so cool. And I was so proud of them. And it just made me revert back to her. Hats off to you, kid.
Hats off to also the representation from Johnny Trudeau. They brought his kids out,
unbelievable
all
moment.
around. You know what it felt like, Jeff? It felt like a good red-blooded American moment. And that's what we need. And of course, the people that hate America tried to shoot it down. That's all it was. They continue to do this. They continue to talk shit. Shout out to Jack Hughes. It was an absolutely amazing speech to say how proud you are to represent your country. And we are just as proud of you and both hockey teams as well. So definitely congratulations.
I don't think those people hate America. I think that they have been fed a ton of propaganda that has altered their view on how good that we actually have it here. And I think nowadays it's just tough because everybody wants to be as offended as they possibly can to get put into some class so that they can better resonate with somebody who is actually
we're living in a society here, people. Living in a society. World Baseball Classic getting underway today, Jeff. I know you like that. I could give two shits about it. I'm more important with the MLB opening day coming up, starting to, tag in, starting to do a little research here on MLB fantasy baseball. We'll have a little bit of touch of that going on moving forward. I know Jeff doesn't play that.
No,
he just doesn't have the time. He's a very busy man. Busy.
That's not even, Jeff. It's not even it that it's just I'm a very busy man. It's that I don't have the patience for it.
You check fantasy football every day. What's the difference?
It's completely different. I'm not worried about it. It absolutely is. I'm checking fantasy football. May I finish?
Absolutely.
When I'm checking fantasy football, it's because I'm looking at practice reports and what's going on and maybe who to handcuff or pick up for what I'm looking for to play one game per week. Mm-hmm. Right? With fantasy baseball, you have all of that and they're playing 5 games a week.
Yeah.
I'm good.
So you just say you don't have the mental capacity for it?
That's not it.
That's what it sounds like.
I think I have a great mental capacity for a lot of things in life. I think I just choose where I want to use my mental capacity at. Trying to break down splits on whether they're going to bring in Andres Galarraga from the bullpen to go throw to whoever, Chris Bryant for the Rockies.
That's not a thing.
I'm good on it. It's just like with kickers, right? We talked about get kickers out of fantasy football. I don't need to break down wind and weather on a Sunday morning to figure out if my kicker is going to get an extra 2 points.
I get it, Jeff. You don't have the edge, so therefore everybody else is punished. I get it. So let me ask you this question: with fantasy football, where are you allocating all this extra time for then?
I'm sorry?
Where are you so fantasy football, you say you're checking daily to do this, that where are you allocating this precious time now? Because fantasy football is not going on.
Into my children and my wife and my family.
That's bullshit. Anyway, Bay Hill also this week, Jeffrey. Who do you like?
Colin Morikawa.
Okay.
Why? He's finished. He's one of only 4 players to finish top 30 in every event so far this year.
Are the big boys playing?
Yeah, of course. It's a huge elevated event.
Scotty Scheffler's playing?
Yeah, absolutely. Rory, Scotty. I just think Colin at plus 2,500 right now. If you look at the way that the spreads are kind of working out on everybody, Scotty hasn't been in great form. I think Matsuyama is an interesting name as well too. I think he's been playing a little bit better. And so and obviously a guy who I believe lives here in Orlando, out at a place that we like to play every once in a while. I just think that both those guys have a legitimate shot to win this week. I wouldn't necessarily bet on Rory or Scotty. Matsuyama.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Never seen him out at Kitties. And as CJ just said, Formula One is back.
When's the
We
last
are
time you were
back.
at Kitties?
Exactly. When's the last time I was invited? Yeah, exactly.
I realize you have to be
Uh, uh, uh,
invited to a local pub.
Jeff, I only go
Like
there if you're there. It's not local to me. It's like 30 minutes away. That's
nobody
another.
invites me to go there.
Well, that's because you just whatever. Formula One is back this week. All the new regulations on board. We'll see what happens. Listening to the new cars, they sound like dog shit. A lot of the drivers said that it's just like Formula 2 beefed up. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, not looking very promising for the fans of F1, but we shall see when it comes to driving.
Can't believe you didn't like the movie.
That movie was trash.
The movie was great.
That's because you just don't know Formula One yet. Once you get in, and you will, Jeff, you'll get in. You'll get
what was the part that really grinded your gears?
All of it. All of it.
Give me a specific thing.
It was a terrible movie. It was terrible from start to finish. There's
why? Because he's going from last to first.
No, that's not it. I mean, that's a good feel good thing. Just the whole thing. It's just no. It's not Formula One. It's Formula One made for the audiences. Now, Drive to Survive, that's Formula One. I know that Jeff said, or I'm sorry, TJ said best reality show out there. Cousin Clay gave me the initial remark, said that it sucks that there's not much going on this year, of course. So we'll see what happens.
TJ, this is why we got to be careful with the F1 elitists, right? Because once they cross over into the elitist territory of they are the F1 fans, and they wear, the full Red Bull gear, with the Mercedes-Benz hat and everything like that, you can't tell them shit, right? They are professionals. They know all about wind. They know all about intake. They know everything that there is to know, and you can't tell them anything. Got to be careful with the elitists.
Absolutely. Well, Jeff, tell me what are your thoughts on the new rear wing displacements for this year?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to Lewis Hamilton having a great year this year.
What does that have to do with the rear wing displacements and the rear wing fenders?
As somebody who's not a fan of F1, I could honestly fucking care less.
Well, then don't be coming with that elite bullshit over here, okay?
It's elitism. What did you just say? You said the F1 movie. Yeah, it was great for people who don't know F1.
Okay, cool. I agree. Yeah, I mean that's a fair statement. That doesn't make me an elitist.
Okay. They're appealing to masses anyway. Whatever.
There's actually not DRS anymore, Jeremy. It's power mode. It's crazy, dude. Like I think this season is gonna be dog shit, to be perfectly honest with you. But who knows? It could be great. You never know. That's why they mean.
Dog shit. Does that mean that like there's no like big come from behind winners? Does that mean that there's not a lot of wrecks? Like what exactly does F1? What does a good season in F1 entail exactly? Is it Verstappen leading from start to finish? Is it I just because everything matters about qualifying. It's qualifying, and then they run a race, which nobody really passes on, and then that's pretty much it.
Well, they have some different ones here. So they have overtake mode now, which is something that they can do anywhere on the track now. So as long as they're within 1 second, they can go ahead and basically they open their wings to give them the advantage. That used to be relegated to certain areas. So we might get a little bit more battling there. They also have boost mode.
Races
which they could just part on boost mode, and then they have energy management. And anyway, they
have like NOS, like Fast and the Furious, like you're on a straightaway.
Exactly. That is 100% what it is. You're absolutely right. But in order to use the NOS, you actually have to fill the NOS tank. So therefore, in certain parts of the track, you have to charge your battery to have the NOS. The battery is your NOS. So yes, you have to make sure that your battery. So if you have a battle with somebody, drain your NOS, then yes, then you have no overtake and you're going to be relegated for a lap and then have to come back and battle. It could be a nice yo-yo. You could get a lot more battles, could get a lot more interaction, could keep the pack together. Nobody really knows. These are all new engines, new body styles. We went from the wide format to a little bit skinnier. So you might see a lot more spin outs because they can't control it through the corners like they used to because it's not as wide. It could be great. I don't know. We'll see.
Do you think that Damson Idris on that, the one where he's going to pass, right? And
what are you talking about?
Brad Pitt is like, listen, pass him here, but be careful on the turn, be patient. Do you think that he heard the be patient part, or do you think he's just
drivers cannot talk to another driver during the race?
Right, but he was relaying to.
Yes, he was doing his mental capacity. Yes. You could definitely relay to the team, but let me also tell you this: in Formula One, drivers do not work together. They're trying to beat the other driver on their team.
But that was one of the most beautiful things about the movies, that they did work together.
Yeah, and that's one of the most unrealistic things that would never happen.
But it was about saving the team for his best friend, who he used to drive with.
And there's another one. They are not best friends. They are not best friends. But I will tell you this: Checo Perez is probably the biggest hero that I've ever seen. He actually did work with Max Verstappen numerous times to hold up Lewis in order for Max Verstappen to get that championship. So there are times when you get team orders, kind of like McLaren last year. They declared papaya rules, but they clearly favored Lando, and instead Oscar was winning the cup all the way through. And then when they started to favoritism Lando, here he comes and he ends up winning the championship. So it's not quite that. I mean, that made for good entertainment.
Yeah. I also thought it was so cool how, like, all of a sudden, he gets hurt, he gets injured, Brad Pitt, and now the other one is out there leading them, running around the track. Just inspirational stuff that we all can use in our life. Yeah. But this is a movie that you hated, so I understand.
Yeah. Did I tell you I just watched Miracle on Ice for the first time?
I've never seen it.
I watched it right before the Gold Game, Jeff. Highly recommend. Yeah, I know. I'm un-American, apparently.
I was at my son's soccer game.
They were all complaining about the rain, but Max doesn't. Max doesn't complain about the rain. Dude's a different breed. Anything to wrap us up with, Jeffrey?
I don't think so.
Great show today. Very, very energetic, very positive. I guess it's because we took some time, got refreshed.
It just before we dive back. Well.
Can I also just talk about how the NBA's trash? And I saw a report that who's the guy from the Timberwolves, Anthony Edwards, that he was going to be the first in line for the next new Supermax deal, where he's going to be making $80 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable.
Do you know that he is? I mean, he's the closest thing to Jordan.
No. He's phenomenal. I don't deny anyone's talent, this, that, the other. All I'm saying is, bro, like, at what point do ticket prices become reasonable? At what point do I not have to pay $1,000 to get an NBA package, or have 5 different streaming apps that continue to suck the blood out of my wallet in order to continue to pay somebody money that I would never see in a million lifetimes? That's all I'm saying. He's clipping his toenails.
It is wild, the different, like, if we were just to record what Jeremy does on a daily basis, sitting behind the scenes here, but also great job as well too, with always coming up with a witty headline, or something that he wants to put out there. I think is great as well. Jeremy, anything you got? You want to talk a little bit about Orlando City just getting absolutely rocked?
Hey, dude, I will say,
for the first time.
I was like, oh shit, they're up 2-0, and then it was like boom, boom. I was like, oh boy,
just getting their shit pushed in by Lionel.
Hey, what was that with Messi going to the bench like, you want my autograph? What was that?
I didn't see that. I was working that day, so I didn't get to see much of it.
He looked over at the Orlando City bench. He's like, you want an autograph?
Well, I mean, it's the first time he's ever played in Orlando. So
it's like 4th year, right? 4th year?
Yeah. First time he's
ever played
in Orlando. Yep.
He skips the game every single time, but
yeah, I did not go. Ticket prices were astronomical. I mean, it's
the GOAT.
Yeah. I mean, it's for Orlando City. It's been a tale of two halves. First half in the opener looked crappy. Second half looked great against the Plastics. We looked great in the first half, shitty in the second half. So we just got to put together a full 90. And we're still missing Robin. He's still out right now with a foot injury, and he's a really big leader in our back line. So we're just trying to plug in some new guys. We got another new guy we might be signing That's
Griezmann?
in talks right now. Yep, Griezmann. So we'll see what happens. A long season.
They still have Duncan.
Yep, we do. Duncan's still out there. Yep, he's been starting.
I saw a thing. I don't know why it came across my Facebook feed, but somebody from the Ruckus Club that said, that they will be flying the flags during the game, the entire game. So if you don't like it, you can't see it, go screw yourself. And it was interesting, the comments that were under. Apparently, there's an anime flag that is flown in the supporter section.
Yeah, I mean the flags are all different. There's all different things. I mean,
I got. What does an anime flag have to do with Orlando City Soccer?
nothing. The flags are not chosen by the team. The flags are just chosen by the person that brings them. I mean, you can have a flag. Some people like anime, man. I mean, that's their thing. They have an anime.
So you're allowed to bring in a giant anime flag to block people's view that has nothing to do with the game.
I mean, if you're in the supporter section, you realize that's where the flags are. You don't sit there.
That was one of the comments that got a lot. He goes, I understand all the other flags, but what does the anime flag have to do with the game? Like, why is my view being blocked by an anime flag?
Well, and the crazy thing is, if you're behind someone that has a flag and you can't see, guess what? That's a standing section. You can move to another area. Your choice.
I just thought it was funny.
Speaking of elitists, let's talk about Orlando City Soccer fans. You guys,
I don't stand with the peasants.
You don't like it, move.
I don't
some of the wildest bunch I've met in my life as well, too.
I don't stand with peasants. I stand in the front row, so that's okay. That's where my spot is.
That is true. That is true. Every time I've gone, we've always been first two rows.
Yeah.
But it is funny to see like half of the stadium full, all the supporters going crazy. I don't know. It's an interesting dynamic. I almost like the other side a little bit better.
I've got a few spots I like to sit. I'm not gonna lie. I sit because
Anyway,
all right. That's about all I got. TJ, thanks for being here and chiming in. Goofy Man 12342. Appreciate you. Justice, thank you. Buff.
Boys are all playing golf today.
Where are they playing?
Royal St. Cloud.
Yeah, Buff talked to it earlier. So thanks for the invite. I didn't get invited.
I would have loved to have played golf today.
I would have too.
Not in my cards.
Yeah, I mean,
got to work tonight.
Maybe next Wednesday, Thursday. My next day off.
Next Thursday. I'm down for next Thursday.
I'm off.
Right.
Are we doing a show next Wednesday?
We are. We're Wednesdays from here on out, Jeff. Lots of stuff going on, lots of stuff happening, lots of stuff that the people need their info on. We gotta deliver for the fans. We're showing up 12 o'clock on Wednesdays moving forward. Summer break is over, Jeff.
Summer break hasn't started yet.
Spring break is over, Jeff. Spring break is over.
Is
not spring bake. We're not smoking weed. Spring bake.
I have been leaning heavily into.
Did you see the guys that were commenting on our Gravity video? Be like, dude, how much do you guys smoke?
Yeah. No, I will say, like, even yesterday, right? Like, I wanted to go. They have a poker tournament at Backstage. They have on Tuesdays now. It's $200 cash.
Really?
So
what's the buy?
I was like, it's zero free. There's one tournament they play for
Winner
4 hours. Yeah, winner take all. So I was like, I kind of want to go play it.
I don't got shit to do, so I went and played. I just drank like a 10 milligram seltzer on the way there, and then got there, sat there for 4 hours, drank 4 non-alcoholic beers, won the tournament, went straight home, went to bed. It was glorious. I was like, this is what it's like to not be hammered
and to get good sleep.
Can I ask a question here? What is the point of drinking a non-alcoholic beer?
To be social.
Okay. I mean, it's just a genuine question because beer is not, let's say, the most refreshing thing that you can drink in the world.
I was listening to Jason Williams actually talk about this.
Club soda, maybe a little club soda with a lime, maybe.
I first of all, I hate seltzer water. Can't stand it.
You know what Tristan Tate says about that?
Huh?
You know what Tristan Tate says about that?
I couldn't give two shits about what any of those people say about anything.
Those people, Jeffrey? Are we talking about Middle Eastern people?
No, I'm talking about that whole fucking sect of the terrible fucking internet that we glorify with
glorify.
Yeah, that they have a platform and they spew
Everyone has a
anti-Semitic
platform.
bullshit over and over and over again.
Anti-Semitic bullshit.
Do they not?
I don't know. I don't.
Whether it be
listen
the
to them.
Tates, whether it be Nick Fuentes, whether it be Sneeko, whether it be who's that?
What's
kid-
anti-Semitic?
Whatever against Jews.
Yeah. What do they say?
I will let you go ahead and put that out there. I'm not going to.
That's giving them more clicks, Jeffrey.
Those words out of my mouth. That's fine. I
don't
care
want
less.
to give them more clicks.
Okay, then you don't have to. I don't need to sit there and say what they're saying that I think is egregious on
Will you tell-
on a podcast where it can
will
be
you tell me
clipped
off
and makes
stream?
it sound like I'm the one saying it. So I'm going to stand on what I just said, which is fuck every one of
You saw through that, huh?
those. Yeah, exactly. So because as soon as I say what they say, he's gonna be
StreamYard,
like,
clip
StreamYard,
that.
clip it, and that's going to be it. And so I'm good.
I don't need to do that.
All 5 of our followers would have been up in arms. That would have been the clip that gone viral, though. Jeff, you got to make a sacrifice to get us on the map, bro.
Right. I think I've done a good job of some of that stuff at certain points. I don't know. The non-alcoholic beer thing is just, it's an easy kind of cope and go to. And also like people who I don't want to be like, always explain yourself to, like you can drink a non-alcoholic beer and they think that you're drinking regular beer. Now the problem comes when they start to offer you shots and they're like, oh, here, because people, they see you drinking a beer like you normally do, and they're like, "Oh, here's a shot," and you're like, "Oh, I'm actually not drinking alcohol." And they're like, "Wait, what are you? You're drinking non-alcoholic beer?"
Smoking mirrors, bro. Smoking mirrors.
Yeah. Like, I'm sitting there yesterday. I'm locked in, bro, playing poker for 4 hours. Everybody
No
else
wonder
is
you
just
beat
tapering
everybody.
off at the end. I'm just sitting there.
Everybody's
chilling,
a half
bro.
a bottle of Fireball deep, just like
Hilarious,
laser
bro.
beams.
And they're like, "Oh man, you're playing really, really calm, patient poker." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm." Yeah. Anyway.
Well, that's going to do it for us today on the Uninformed Fan. We will see you back here on Wednesday. Hopefully, maybe sometime. Jeremy, can you do me a favor between that? Can you see if you can dive into the TikTok world and see if we can figure out how to stream live? I dug into it for like half hour this morning. I can't figure it out. I don't know if
They give you access.
we have access, but I can't find the stream keys. So if you can find the stream keys, that would be great. Then I can link it to StreamYard, and then we can go from there. Otherwise, we have to stream it straight from our phone.
Jotting that down in his notes.
I like it. That's going to do it for us today on the Uninformed Fan. I appreciate everybody coming in. The 53 people that are still in the building, I appreciate you guys. We will see you back on Wednesday with the full recap of everything that happened. By the way, in case you missed it, we bombed a couple people. We'll see how that plays out. Until then, please stay out of the left-hand lane.
Be
We're
great.
not talking about toilets, Jeffrey.